Hello and welcome to Season 5, Episode 4 of the Crochet Luna Vlogcast. My name is Claudia and I'm coming to you from the San Diego area in Southern California. In this new year, 2022, I can still wish you a new year. It's January, so Happy New Year to you all. I want to welcome any new subscribers and returning viewers. I am a crochet-centric podcast. So you'll see a little bit of knitting, a little bit of sewing, but mostly I talk about crochet, the stuff I'm crocheting, the stuff I wish I was crocheting, and the stuff that I'm possibly going to be crocheting. So welcome all. I hope you had a good holiday season. I usually like to start the vlogcast with a little health update, and it's basically a thumbs down. So during the holiday season, during December, I thought I was going to be able to do Vlogmas. I was all geared up for it. And I ended up with some really nasty flare-ups. Very up and down throughout December. And then a whole wave of colds came through the house, knocking everybody down. So basically, I got 3 episodes of Vlogmas, and that was it. And after that, I was either sick or I was flared up or I was too tired to do anything, which was really sad because I was really, really looking forward to Vlogmas. If you did Vlogmas last year, I want to give you a huge thank you. I enjoyed watching people's Vlogmases. They were so inspiring. It was so nice to see what other people are doing, cooking, all kinds of stuff. I got into cookbooks for the holiday season, and I bought some vegan cookbooks, and I cooked some vegan recipes, which is really exciting. So I really appreciate the effort. It is a lot of work to put together a 10, 15, 20-minute video every single day in December. That is a lot of work. So I just want to thank everyone who did that because you definitely kept me company while I was trying to figure out life and how to move around in this arthritic body in December. But we're now in January. It's the middle of January 2022. I usually like to start off with a word of the year. If you don't subscribe to that, that's perfectly fine. I have done it the past several years, and I feel like because I keep it visible for myself, I tend to use it as a word that anchors me throughout the year. Last year, my word was forward, and I wrote a post actually about it a couple days ago, and I do feel like I made some steps forward. I took some things that moved forward in my life for the betterment. And so I think that the word fit well. I think when we are years removed from the pandemic, we're all going to look back and we're going to analyze it through a different lens, obviously. And I think for me, I feel like it's sort of been like survivor mode, right? You're in the survival mode. And even though we're trying to have these normal experiences in lives, the burden of pandemic is definitely real. I mean, whether you subscribe to it or not, I think it has affected our everyday lives. And so, not being able to get together with family or having sick family members or, my heart goes out to anyone who has lost anybody due to COVID. It's very, very difficult, I am sure. I have family members who are in the medical field, nurses who are cousins of mine that are dealing with COVID patients every single day, and it is scary. So I am coming into 2022 with a little fatigue, I think, from the last 2 years, but with a hopeful heart. So I hope that you are feeling that hopefulness as well. And it took me a while to settle on my word for the year. I don't know what it was. Usually I sit down like the last week of December and I think, yeah, that's it, right? This is what I want. This is the word that's resonating with me. And I just couldn't do it. I don't know if it was because I wasn't feeling well or my mind was not processing that in the right way, but I could not think of a word. I had words that I thought, okay, maybe, but nothing that I really connected to it, and I didn't want to force it. But I will tell you that it came about in a very, ordinary way. I was folding laundry. I had finished doing laundry. I'd put everything away. I was working on the last little bit of it, and I felt such a sense of happiness, such peace, knowing that I was done with this menial task in my life, that I had done. I was finished putting this laundry away, and I felt just very contented. And so as soon as that word came to mind, I realized that was going to be my word for the year. So my word for 2022 is contentment. And it really brought me to a point where I really wanted to think about why it wasn't the word happiness. A lot of people think that they're synonyms. Happiness, contentment, joy are the same. And actually, if you dig a little bit into the meaning of contentment, it's actually not the same as happiness. Contentment is more of a long-term state of mind, basically dealing with being satisfied with what you have. Whereas happiness is more of pleasure, and it's more temporary, and it's more fleeting. It comes and goes. You can actually be, what I read something where it said you could actually be miserable and find moments of happiness, right? So you could actually be be in a situation where you are not contented, right? But you have these pockets of happiness or these little bits of experiences that bring you happiness. But that is not contentment, because contentment is more of a long-term state of mind, basically. So I really, really thought that, yeah, that's sort of like what I am aiming for this year, being in a state of satisfaction with what I have, with the decisions that I'm making, and just being sort of like very much at peace. And so, I did some reading on, contentment, and the more I dug into the definition, the meaning of it, the more I thought, yeah, it's not happiness necessarily, though you can be happy and contented, right? It's not so much that I'm seeking these, being happy all the time, but what I am seeking is definitely a sense of satisfaction with what I have and in my life, because I have so many good things in my life when it comes to family, when it comes to friendships, and those are the things that I really want to focus on this year. In terms of things, I'm not going on this yarn ban where I'm never going to buy yarn, or I've got, when you look around, as I have been doing the past 3 months, where I am deep cleaning, organizing, purging, and I see the amount of things that I have, especially because I'm in this particular industry. I realize I have enough. I have enough yarn. I have enough patterns. I have enough project bags. I have enough of it all to be contented, to be satisfied. That's not to say that I'm not going to come across things that I will want, but before I make that purchase, I think I'm going to really sit with it and make sure that it's something that's really going to bring something to my life, instead of just willy-nilly buying things because, oh, that's pretty. I don't want to do that. I have too many single skeins that I bought because they were so pretty that now I have bins of single skein yarns that I hopefully will put together to make those purchases make sense. But yeah, I feel like I have enough, right? Some of us could say maybe there isn't enough yarn, like it'll never be enough, but I respect everyone's, way of thinking, way of living. I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying I'm at a point in my life where what's important to me are friendships and family. And so that's what I want to focus on this year. The rest, it's all good. It's all good, right? So yeah, I recorded 3 episodes of Vlogmas, and I had another episode I was going to upload, but it never happened. I did want to share that with you. It is here in Escondido where I live. It's a big arts district, so they have galleries and things like that, theater. And there is, in downtown Escondido, there is a one-way street that's sort of like between the stores and the parking lot, like an alleyway. And they've taken part of that alley and turned it into an outdoors art gallery, which I thought was really great. So I went down the alley and I took footage of it that I was going to share during Vlogmas, but that didn't happen. But why let it go to waste? I would love to share that with you guys. I think it's great. So I'm gonna put that here, and I'll see you in a couple minutes. I wanted to drive down this back alley in Escondido. We have a very, very vibrant art scene here. And so this is basically an alley. I'll show you. And they've done this project where people are hanging art. This is all outdoors. It's all free. I'm literally in my car driving. Hopefully I can get you to see. I can show you the different paintings that they have here. And it's really, really cool. I mean, if you wanted to promote an outdoors free art experience, I think this is a fantastic way of doing it. I wanted to show you that even the trash cans here are covered in like little drawings. I hope nobody comes behind me because I wanted to show you all the different pictures that they have. Oh, isn't she pretty? Yep. I don't really know who the artists are. I just have driven down this alley a couple times, and I thought this would be a good video to shoot for Vlogmas, to show you, as I said when I showed you the mural at the library. We have a lot of outdoor art here in Escondido, and this little art gallery on this side, on this brick wall here in this alley, is just one of the examples. We have a huge vintage car show that happens in the summer, and it happens, I believe it's every Friday. Everybody comes out in their vintage cars and they park it along downtown Escondido, and then everybody can, check out all the cool cars, the muscle cars and things like that. There's another one. I like the different variety of art that I'm showing you. It's all very different. I think this is a great way to beautify an alley. There's some sunflowers. Now this next piece is actually really cool because it's a little girl flying a kite, but the kite is actually coming off the painting. I don't know if you can see that. That's really cool. Okay, next one is my absolute favorite one. I love this one. And all these animals, and it's like they're looking down on you. So freaking cute. Do you guys catch the little mouse on the cow's ear? Right there. How cute is that? And like this perspective. This is my favorite piece. And there's just so many different types of art on display. I really like the variety and the different colors. Look at that. Now there is a QR code on these pieces. I'll show you the QR code here. I imagine if you walk down the alley and you click on the QR code, you probably get a lot more information about the different artists that are showing their work here. But is this not a great way of displaying art for the public, for public consumption? All right, now there's a truck that I'm going to run into if I'm not careful. So these next two pieces you won't be able to see very well. Let's see. Oh, look at this flamingo. Like that. And we've got this very minimalist piece right here. And then we've got this one over here. Yeah, so I like this flamingo a lot actually. Let's see what else. I like this piece. It kind of reminds me of a Frida Kahlo. Kind of has that Frida Kahlo vibe. And I got this one here. This is mostly an abstract piece, I believe. And then we've got this one here. And the last piece is this piece right here. And that's it. Okay, so did you like that? I thought that was really cool. I don't know how often they move those pieces or they change those pieces. I don't know, but they have to obviously be made to withstand the outdoors because they're just outside. I will keep checking to see if I see any new change in those pieces. I will report back to you guys. I shared a beautiful mural that was done on the side of our local library, and it was done by a local artist, which I thought was really colorful and really beautiful. There are many, many murals in Escondido. Had been one of my things that I wanted to share during Vlogmas. So I think what I'll do is maybe record some of that stuff and share it with you guys throughout the year. Now, as a quick recap to 2021, I will tell you that when I went back to analyze what I had done in 2021, I was actually quite surprised. I didn't realize I had done as much as I did. Not as much as I've done some years, definitely more than I did in 2020. but I made a note of it. And so in 2021, I crocheted 11 projects. I did 2 knitted projects, 1 sewing project, and I was in 2 publications, which I will talk about later. So that's not bad. And I also designed 2 patterns that are still to be published. So that was not bad for thinking that I really hadn't done anything in 2021. But that's the great thing about documenting in social media. I would say that's one of the most positive things for me, is that I can go back and see what I did. So that ability to document these projects has been some of the one of the best things to me about like having Instagram, because I go back to those photos as if I was flipping through a photo album, and I remember like, oh yeah, I remember going to this show. Oh yeah, I forgot I had met this person. So I love that part about my Instagram account. It is definitely not one that I update every single day. I don't post every single day, but I've never been one to be, like, I have never been one to feel like I had to do that. I usually post when I want to, when it seems like I have something to say. But it's wonderful to look back and see what I've been up to and what I did. So that's a recap for 2021. Anyway, this year for 2022, I only have 2 cowls that I will be co-hosting. Again, Dodgy Bag Mal. I haven't told Allie yet, but I'm sure she'll be okay with it. Dodgy Bag Mal with Allie from Little Drops of Wonderful. This will be, I think, our 5th year running it. I think it's 4. And then hopefully Clarissa Beth will be on board with Summer of Romance for the summer. I think what we're going to do, and I haven't talked to her about it yet, Clarissa Beth is Crochet Cakes on YouTube and everywhere on social media. She has become a fantastic designer. You should definitely check her out. One of her patterns was in Morit. Oh, I have to make a note because I have to tell you something about Morit. Definitely check her out. We have been doing Summer Romance for many, many years, and hopefully she will be on board to do it this year again. And so those are the only 2 cowls on the calendar for me this year. I'm not participating in any cowls right now. I know there's different ones going on, but I myself have some design work that I need to get done before March. So I'm going to be focusing on finishing some whips and then diving head on to some design work that I have. So let me share with you some of my FOs. Usually don't have as many FOs as I'm showing you today, but it's been a while since I recorded, so I will go ahead and show you what I have finished since we last talked. So the first one that I'm going to show you, I hope I didn't show you this already. Oh well, if I did, it's lovely. You get to see it again. But this is my Spring Leaves Cowl by Mary Renji. I will put all of the links, show notes at the bottom of the video in the description box so that you can see her other patterns. She's got beautiful patterns. The story behind my cowl, this is actually supposed to be very long. It's got this beautiful like leaf pattern on here. Very, very, I was really enjoying this. I bought this yarn at a yarn shop near my mom's house, and I ran out of yarn because it takes 2 skeins. I ordered the second skein and I lost it. I've cleaned my crochet corner, guys, and I cannot find it. And the project was just languishing on timeout. So what I did is actually I seamed it I don't know if you can see it. I seamed the two ends. And so now what I have is a nice cowl. Which I'm not going to put on because my hair is doing all kinds of craziness. I don't want to mess with it. So I've got the cowl. And this yarn is super, super soft. I will tell you that the yarn is, let's see, it's from Peekaboo Yarns in the colorway Venomous Dew Claw. Again, I will put a link to their shop so that you can see, but it's a beautiful lime green color. The pattern has, like I said, that really nice, and actually it's more lime green than what you're seeing on the screen. It's more of like a fluorescent green when you look at it in person. I will see about taking some photographs with it on Instagram so that you can see what it really looks like. The next thing I want to show you is my, oh my gosh, you guys. I have a sweater on and all of a sudden I am freaking hot. Don't forget, it's cookie season coming up. Support your local Girl Scouts. So I'm a treasurer for a Girl Scout troop, so I want to get the message out there that the girls, you know, all the troops throughout the country have really taken a hit during pandemic. And so this is like a total aside, but Girl Scout troops are funded by themselves in the fall with nuts, and then in the spring with cookies. What they get is actually not the full price of the box that you pay. So when you buy a box from your local Girl Scout, their troop gets to keep a percentage of it, and then the rest goes to the council, right? Because most of the positions are like volunteer positions, right? And so it's really important that you support your local Girl Scout troop, because what they make from those sales is what they use to fund their whole year in scouting, which means if they want to go camping, if they want to do a service project in their community, for example, one year we took funds and we went to our local animal shelter and we asked them, what can we help you with? And so they had a whole Amazon wish list of things that we were able to fulfill because we had the funds. So when you see those little girls in the blue vests, those are daisies, you know, trying out their first year at selling cookies in person, which is really, really difficult. Know that you're supporting their activities and their ability to give back to the community, because Girl Scouts is, you know, girl led. They're all about leadership and they're all about community. So anyway, that's my commercial for Girl Scouts this episode. Anyway, okay. My next project I am really loving, and it's these Fingerless Mittens. The pattern is by Rosina of Zeens and Roger. And these are her ticking wrist warmers. And let me tell you, I love these. I really do. Now, the yarn is from Molly Klein Design. And this is part of a kit that had a little goldfish. I don't know if you guys remember it, and I don't know where I put it because I've been rearranging stuff here. But it had a little goldfish pattern on the bag, and it had a cute little goldfish stitch marker. So these are my wrist warmers, and pattern is very, of course, because, you know, Rosina writes really nice patterns. Really quick, was a really quick make. Really enjoyable. I had a friend of mine ask me for a pair, and I still have to make her a pair. But you can see they're snug. They've got a nice front post, back post ribbing here, and yeah. You could probably, if you don't want to do the stripe, you don't have to do the stripe. You could do it all in one color. I will show you the pattern. It is available in Ravelry right now. I think Rosina sells her patterns in different places. So if you don't use Ravelry, I'm sure that if you go to her Instagram, that you will be able to find a link of where you can purchase it. I've changed the angle of my camera here, and I keep looking over here thinking this is where I should be looking, but I really should be looking over here. So I tell you, it's been a minute. So here is the pattern, taking wrist warmers. Originally, the pattern was in Inside Crochet. Let me see if it says what magazine. No, yeah, it does. Issue 128 of Inside Crochet. If you bought that magazine, you have this pattern and you can access it. But right now, if you wanted to buy it without buying the magazine, it's available. The other pattern, the one that I just showed you, is the one from Mary Renji. I'm a big fan of her work. She does really beautiful work. My second favorite wrap that I've ever made is her Hexit shawl, and I wore it to a wedding. It was a huge hit, and it was such a great piece. So this is what it's supposed to look like. And actually, like I said, I even found yarn that looked like the one she used for the pattern. See how much longer it is? I just had to cut mine and make it from one skein because I could not find that second skein. Now, having said that, I slip stitched the inside of this. Let me show you. See that? I slip stitched this close. So if by some miracle I find that second skein, I can easily undo that and just finish the pattern as it should be. These are my ticking wrist warmers. And not last. I have two more. Then I finished my knitted scarf. I'm all looking over here. It took me, I want to call this my football season project, because this is the project that I took to my son's football practices until it got too cold to go and sit out there. And then I would either knit in the car, or, it was my portable project. And it is my finished Noro scarf, Noro Eyelet scarf. With one ball of Noro, I had very little left of it. As you can see, what I love about this pattern is how the designer was able to get each color to transition perfectly. So you don't have like in the middle of a row, the transition, they definitely happen at the end. So I finished it, I blocked it. There's some seat stitch in the border right here. It is a beautiful pattern. I am really happy with the way this came out. I'm really happy that I finished it. And yeah, it's been finished for a long time. It's been really just, I haven't taken any pictures. I haven't done anything. But I definitely wanted to let you know, because if you've seen my previous episodes, you've seen that this was a whip, and now it's an FO. The pattern is called number 21 Eyelet Scarf. It was originally in the spring summer of 2020 Noro magazine, but you can also purchase it on Ravelry, and if you don't do Ravelry, you can also purchase it from Webb's Yarn, and you can purchase the kit. So this is exactly the same yarn that I used, and you can purchase the kit from Webb. It's got all the information about the yarn, and you can also buy the pattern separately. So I know that a lot of you don't use Ravelry. I only use Ravelry to the library in Ravelry. I don't even I closed down my group, but I will tell you that I've been purchasing patterns from different places, and it's become like a little bit of a challenge to keep them all organized. But I do understand that some of you cannot use Ravelry, and I apologize for that. But if you are interested, there are different places you can get this pattern. It is such a great pattern. It's such an easy knit. And you know, I just love the yarn. The yarn was so beautiful to work with. I love these bright colors. I love how colorful this is. And I know someone in my family has already eyed it, and they might get it as a gift, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so that's FO number 3. And then my final FO, I just finished. It's my first FO of 2022. And it's the Treble Striped Socks by Simone Francis. Now, this is a paid pattern. She does have different places that you can purchase it. What I like to do is I like to link the designers with their Instagram so that you can click on their either link tree or their different links so that you can see all the places where they sell patterns. Most designers now will have an alternative to Ravelry. I think that they've all been smart and they all realize we can't just sell on Ravelry. So even though I may show you a pattern that's on Ravelry, I would highly suggest that you go to the Instagram and see what other places you can purchase their patterns. But this is the Treble Striped Socks by Simone Francis. And then these are my Treble Striped Socks. And I get to use my so much fun and lovely stitch mark sock blockers from Maria at Anito Runs Through It. If you haven't seen these sock blockers, I bought them because I have a thing for gnomes. And so when I saw the sock blockers, I'm like, yeah, these have to be mine. So these are my gnome sock blockers, and they have a moon, which is perfect. Some mushrooms. So yes, so these are my socks. I have not blocked them. I don't plan on blocking these. I wear them just to be comfortable while sitting on the couch or to bed, not planning on putting them in any kind of a shoe. They are a DK weight sock. They are a thick sock. You might be surprised because they're granny stitch and they have, you know, you can see that you have these big gaps because of the grinding stitch. They actually keep you pretty warm. I will tell you, I struggled a little bit with the heel, but that's probably the way I was interpreting the pattern. I finally got it, and I really like how these came out. They are super quick to make. Now, the yarn that I use for the toe and for the heel is a yarn that Faye from the Crochet Circle podcast sent me. And I don't know what I did with the ball band. It did have a ball band. I just don't know what I did with it. It was just a little ball of yarn, of cream colored yarn. And you see how it's got this little halo. It's such a lovely yarn. And then for the main color, I had 36 grams left of the yarn, and it is by Stitch Together Studio on Instagram, but here's the label. And the colorway is Swearing Like a Sailor, and this is the reason I bought it, because I just love the name of the colorway. It's beautiful. I mean, it really is. It has so many pretty little colors, speckles. It's got it all. So yes, so that is my 4th FO, my socks. I am planning on making more socks this year. I've always liked socks. You would think that because socks are smaller, that you could finish a ton of them quickly, especially with crochet. But no, I've struggled through the years making socks. But I really wanna tackle some projects, and I want to start knitting socks. So you'll see some of those coming sometime this year. I kept this project in a me-made bag of this fantastic fabric. These are yarn bowls that look like ornaments. I made this a couple years ago. I really enjoyed taking out all my Christmas bags and putting projects in them. All right, so let's talk whips. So my tradition and what I have done almost every January for the past several years is that I go through all my whips and I separate the ones that I feel like I can finish, and then I frog everything else. I mean, I don't care how much time I put into it. If I know I'm not going to crochet it, I just frog it and put it back on the shelves. So the projects that made the cut this year are 4 projects, but the fourth one is in timeout in the other room, so I can't show it to you right now. But I will show you my first one, which you have not seen. I purchased the Knit Collage kit for a scarf a couple years ago. And yeah, a couple years ago. It's been sitting unopened, untouched until like November. I think I started working on it. And it's called the Plaidtastic Scarf. This is a paid pattern, so I'm not going to show it to you. And you can't buy the pattern. You have to buy the kit. You have to join the knit along in order to get the pattern. But here's the great thing about Knit Collage. If you bought, let's say I bought this pattern, this kit for the scarf, I get access to all the patterns in the knit along, and they have some really, really cute patterns. I chose a super bright palette. Everything's connected right now, so I'll just give you a brief look at what I have. So this is my palette. Is the main color this super bright pink? Yeah, it is this bright. And then these other ones here, this is a more muted pink. This is like a cream color with a little gold flecks in it. I don't know if you can pick that up. Little sparkle. Then there's this one right here. And then there is some of this cotton yarn. So if you are not familiar with Knit Collage is basically an art yarn. It's spun in India, and it's like a roving. So it's not plied. As you can see, let's see. It's very inconsistent, thick and thin yarn. You would think it's difficult to work with. It really isn't, but it's very strong. So it's not like it's gonna just, dissolve into nothing if you tug at it. So it's very strong yarn. What I'm hating about the project, absolutely hating it, I need to make a change before I can finish it, is my needles. I purchased these, I think it's Knitter's Pride. Yeah, I purchased these needles, and they are a nightmare to work with. But aside from that, the pattern comes with beautiful tutorials by Amy of Knit Collage. Here's my progress so far. Like I said, this is art yarn. It's thick and thin. It has a lot going on. I really like it. It's super bright pink. Super bright pink. I think it's showing up a little, just maybe a degree or two brighter on camera than in real life, but it really is bright. So what you see is that there's different changes of the color that's mixed in, of these yarns that are mixed in. You see that little daisy right there? Some of the yarn has little bits of daisy. One of the reasons I like knit collage yarn is that my episode 1 of this blogcast, I show in that episode a skein of knit collage that I bought, I think before anybody was really doing anything with knit collage. And I've always looked at that skein and thought that I'm saving it for a special project. It's a yellow yarn and it's got daisies in it. So knit collage has a special place in my heart because it was part of my episode 1 that I recorded 1,000 years ago. So I will be finishing this. I just have got to get different needles. I don't like these needles. As a matter of fact, once I get these needles off of here, if anybody would like them, I will send them to you. If you're in the US, I will send you these needles for free. I'll give them to you. You're like, why are you giving me your shitty needles, Claudia? I don't know. Maybe you can make them work because I can't. So that's whip number 1. Whip number 2 is living in my Hohi bag. I've had this bag for a while and I love it. I love it. Look at this color. Isn't that pretty? And I am working on a very old project. I mean, this project goes back to 2018. And the reason I kept it was because I want to make these socks, and I've frogged them a couple times, but I think I'm in the right place now. I think I found my groove. So this is a Vicki Brown pattern, and it's called the Magdalen Sauce. You know, I remember being on a train to Yarndale, and I was sharing that train ride with Sophie of a spring snowflake, and I think I don't know if I mentioned it to her or where, I don't remember how it was. So we were talking about it, and when I read the name, I thought, oh, it's Magdalen, you know, like Magdalene from the Bible. And no, she said it's Magdalen. So I'm doing this pattern here. I actually bought the yarn at Yarndale from Vicki Brown, who is a lovely person. And so I am determined. Look at how beat up my yarn ball looks. But I have a cuff. I have the leg, because these are top down, cuff down socks, right? And I have a heel that I'm supposed to do something with, but I'm not there yet. And I have a second cuff. And we're going to get this leg to this part. I'm going to do the heel. I'm kind of trying to work them both side by side. But I tried it on, and the first time I did it, it was too tight. The second time I did it, it was too big. So I'm Goldilocking these socks, and I think I got them just right now. So my plan is to finish those socks and hopefully move on to another pair of socks, because these have been years in the making, but I am determined to make them. So like I said, it's Vicki Brown for both the yarn and the pattern. The best thing about this pattern is that this is a free pattern that you can get. So hopefully if you've been wanting to crochet some socks, this is the year that you'll do it. I'm not endorsing you to go get this pattern. I'm just saying if you've been thinking about crocheting socks, then you should go for it. Because listen, I had a pair of socks that took me years to make and were frogged like 9 times. Yeah, that was, whew, I almost want to put those socks in like a case, like a trophy case, and display them in the living room, because man, those socks, they were something else. They really were. All right. So then the last whip that I am determined to make is my Any Yarn Will Do cardigan. This is a pattern that I shared with you guys last year, and it is by Dora Does It, Michelle, and you can make this pattern in all 5 weights. So this is a great pattern. And the yarn that I'm using is from Old Deep Stash. It's by Wolfy Wool. I've shown it before. Here is her card. I don't know that she's dying still. I don't know if Heidi's still dying. She might still be dying. Last time I showed you where I was, but I have since then split for the sleeves and I've modified it so it fits me. And this is where I'm at. So from here on out, it's just crocheting back and forth until I get it to the length that I want. And then I will be working on sleeves. So although it seems daunting, I'm at the easy part. Like I've already taken this several places and just put a couple rows. I'm really looking forward to having that. So it's living in my Paisley, what is it called? Paisley and Gold bag. And I've got some buttons from my shop. This says Create from Stash 2021. There is now a Create from Stash 2022 button that I will be putting on this bag. I've got my Stash Buster button and from Stash. I mean, as I said before, I'm not saying I'm not buying yarn this year, but I definitely will buy with purpose. Let's just say that. I also have my Moret magazine button that I got from supporting Moret during its Kickstarter phase, which is fantastic. I have received some communications from Allison. I'm excited. I am so excited for the second issue of Moret. There is something about Moret that I wanted to say because I had somebody buy the magazine in my shop and they encountered some errors in the pattern. And so I contacted Allison. If you don't know, almost all publications, magazines, whether it's Line Up, Pom Pom, whatever magazine, Inside Crochet, Simply Crochet, all of these companies have errata pages for their patterns. They go through an extensive testing and they go through tech editing, but sometimes we are all human and errors are made. And so there are a couple errors in the patterns in Moret that if you go to the Moret page, the errata, which I will put a link to, you will see that there is a errata page for, I think it's 2 or 3 of the patterns. I'm not sure. Let me check and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I checked the Moret errata page and you've got 1, 2, 3 patterns that have errata. And a 4th one, which I don't really consider an errata, but they're saying that the pattern is only written in 9 sizes, not the usual 10. So, I printed it out. You can see, you can find this on the Moret website. It says errata at the top, and you've got this spiral. The mittens have an error. I'm not going to try to pronounce them. I know I've heard them pronounced a lot of times, but my head's just not there. Okay. The mittens, there's errata. Kishi is the other pattern that has errata, and Laminaria has errata. Okay. So I'll put it back here so you can see that there's a page with that on there. I will put the link down below. I just don't want you to feel frustrated, because there's nothing more frustrating than spending the money on something, getting ready to get, go make the project, and then you can't figure it out when, had you checked the errata page, it would have just saved you so much more. It would have saved you time and headache and frustration. I don't want you to get frustrated. Almost every single publication out there with patterns, knitting and crochet, has some sort of errata support system. Let's just call it that. And so I want to just put that out there, because I did have a customer come back who seemed to be frustrated by that, but I sent her the link. I talked to Allison. Allison also said, if ever you have an issue with a pattern, to please contact her. There is a place on the website that you can contact them, and they can help you out. Like, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to reach out. I am sure that the Moritz staff is more than willing to give you excellent pattern support. So please don't get frustrated, and don't think that this is just a one-off thing. This is something that happens with publications all the time. Like I said, I'm sure Lina and Pom Pom and all these publications have errata pages. Just putting it out there. Moving on to some project queue. I have 3 projects that I'm hoping to do this year. I know there'll probably be more, but right now I am excited about 3 projects. The first one being a pair of socks. They're called the Pixel Socks by Kochkina Svetlana. This is a paid pattern. Oh, I forgot to write the amount, but this is a paid pattern. And these are the socks. I thought these looked really, really cute. It's a very robust pattern. Very robust pattern. It has photographs. Just amazingly written pattern. I believe she might even have some video support. I'm not sure. Anyway, I love the way these look. And if you look at the construction of these socks, it's very unique. I'm looking forward to working on this one. The next one is I want to start knitting socks. And so I think the only way to go is with a pattern with video support. And Denise DeSantis, Earth Tones Girl, has a free knitting workshop for socks on her YouTube channel. I will definitely link that. Here's the pattern. It's called No Fear Shorty Socks. I think this is a perfect place to start. And if you don't know about Denise, she's got a beautiful podcast. She's a lovely lady. And her passion is knitted socks. And so she put a free class together so that you can learn to knit these socks. So I want to do that. And then Marta Mitchell, who also designs crochet socks. I've done 2 of her patterns, 1 of her patterns actually. She has a free pattern for a Scrappy blanket. It's called the Happy Scrappy Blanket 2. Look at that. This is all sock yarn. I really, really like the way that looks. There, I think that's focused. I think that I've been wanting to crochet a blanket for a long time, and I've danced around and tried different patterns and nothing's worked. So I'm hoping that this one will be the answer to what I've been looking for. It uses sock yarn, and I have plenty of that. So this is one of those long-term projects that you make as you get scraps of yarn. So yeah, this is a free pattern. And if you didn't know, Marta also started a crochet podcast. Yay! I mean, last year I was encouraging you, if you wanted to start a crochet podcast, you should do it. and she did it. She's on episode 3 now. Lovely podcast, highly recommended. When you are bedridden or are just, like when I have a flare up, I'm either on the couch or on the bed or in the bed, right? And, podcasts have been what's kept me going. I'll be honest with you. I don't necessarily want to binge a show or watch a movie. I really enjoy seeing what the community is doing. The other side to that is that for every crochet podcast out there, there's like 50 knitting ones. And I don't always want to consume knitting. I do like some knitting podcasts, like The Fat Squirrel Speaks is one of my favorite podcasts. I love Amy Beth. I do binge her videos because it's just like having a fun friend to just, learn about different patterns. And she does crochet sometimes, but she knits and she spins and has this incredible personality. I love Amy Beth so much. I could listen to her all day. So I want to encourage you yet again this year. Let's start making some crochet podcasts. I just want us to enjoy what we do, enjoy our projects, our yarn, enjoy our patterns. If you want to design, share that. If you want to, just talk about the last 2 projects that you completed. I don't even care. Nobody cares when you finished. If it's new to us because we haven't seen it, right? Like if you finished a blanket 5 years ago, show me your blanket that you finished 5 years ago because I haven't seen it. And so I just want to get more crochet podcasts on YouTube so that when my sorry butt is like laid up, I can watch some crochet podcasts. So again, if you've been thinking about doing it, just do it. It's just, we're not professional here. We're not, I've got a phone that I record everything, and my phone right now is propped up on a book in a box. So I don't have any professional equipment. Don't let that stop you from doing something. So what? Come on, people. Come on. Give me some more crochet podcasts. I want to watch more crochet podcasts. Anyway, so check out Marta's podcast. I will link it below. Like I said, she's on episode 3. Let's give her some love, encouragement. That's what we need when we get started. Now that you've seen all the yarny goodness, I want to talk about a project that I'm really, really proud of. And that is being included in Jen Hewitt's book, This Long Thread. This was many years in the making for Jen, and I can't tell you how touched I was and how proud I am to be included in this book where so many respected makers have been included. The survey that I filled out, the complete survey, is part of the book. And for me, it's important that like I said, I'm very big on documenting. If we could only have access to what our grandparents had seen, right, or done, it would be incredible. And we live in a day and age where we can document so many things for our future generations. And so to be able to have the story of my great grandmother, Maria, in this book and how she influenced me. I say I have crochet in the soul because from day one, since as far as I can remember, I have had an image of yarn and crochet in hand. And so to be sitting here, being able to share crochet and being able to crochet myself, is the one connection, the only real connection I have to someone who meant so much to me. And it's connected to any other woman and every other person who has ever held a crochet hook and yarn. And so being in this book to me is really meaningful, and I was so proud. I had no idea actually that my survey was in here. But I knew that, I mean, I was in Jen would send us emails and updates and things like that. I didn't have any idea what part of the survey would make it in. And so when I saw that the full survey had made it in, it was not only surprising, but it brought me to tears, really. And so I hope that if you have a chance to read this book, that you're able to do it. It is filled with amazing stories. Sewing, knitting, crocheting, all kinds of stories. Are included in this book, and so many beautiful voices have been documented in this book. So I received this book, and I also, because my survey was included, I received the sticker, and I received this really cool pin. So that was one of the places I was published in last year. The other one I really can't show you because I only have a digital copy of it, and that is Lady Di Yarn's inaugural issue of Candid and Colorful, where she highlights, I think 9 or 10 BIPOC designers. Natalie of Detroit Knots, her crochet pattern is in the magazine. The theme for that issue is Bridgerton. Bridgerton was a big hit on Netflix. Many people watched it. And Diane actually developed and created a whole yarn collection based on the colors of Bridgerton. There's 28 colors in the collection, and the designers were given all 28 minis to choose from, and they were able to choose the colors that they wanted to work with and design patterns for the magazine. It's a beautiful magazine. I don't know if you can still buy it. I know that the actual physical magazine hasn't been published yet, but it's coming out really soon. And I have a piece there that actually talks about connections, basically. And I'm really proud of that piece as well, because sometimes as an immigrant, you kind of forget your origin story. And I was able to tap into a little bit of that. And yeah, I feel like all of these little pieces of documentation somewhere down the line, I'm hoping my great grandkid will come across my name, and be able to search up and get a feel for who I was, in life. I'm turning 50 this year, so this is a big year for me. And I've been reminiscing and analyzing and assessing life, as you're wont to do. And I think that 50 it's a really big birthday that's coming up in June. I don't have any big plans to do anything. I just feel like this is why I want to be at a point in my life where I can just enjoy life, and that the priorities are not things but people, the people in my life, and spending time with them. Time is the most precious commodity that we have. Time is everything, right? I've already probably lived most of my life at 50. Yes, okay, if I live to be 100, but I don't know. And so I need to make every year, every moment, every interaction meaningful, because I'm more that way than this way. Right? Things are more going this way than that way. I don't know what I'm saying. Except that I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like and subscribe. Please comment. I try to answer all comments. I wanted to mention that I have a Patreon that's been very sorely neglected. I do send out, or try to send out quarterly little gifts for everybody who joins the Patreon. You can join for as little as $1, and that money basically has been accumulating, and I do support other artists with that money. And I will be talking about someone that I think is an incredible person in the community that you might not have heard of. And I'm hoping to be able to interview her and share that interview with you, and she is on Patreon as well. It sort of feels like if you have Patreon, you've gotta do more on top of what you already do in terms of like recording YouTube videos and things like that. And so my Patreon has just been basically sitting there, and I've been lucky enough that I have really a couple people that are putting up with me, and but I will work on seeing what other things I can do for Patreon. I do want to develop that platform. I think it's a fantastic platform. And so if you want to, you know, take a look and subscribe, I would appreciate it. I had a schedule of Zoom events last year, and I will put another schedule of Zoom events this year so that anybody who joins Patreon can have like a crochet night with me once a month. I will definitely work on that and post it. And then, like I said, every 3 months, 4 months, I tend to send things out to people who are patrons, because I think that's a good way to spread the love, right? And let's see what else. I have a big project that I'm working on right now, which is I showed you the cowl pattern last year. The pattern is written up. I just got to do a couple tweaks to it, and I had people already asking to test it, and I will go ahead, once that's done, I will go ahead and send it out to the people who have contacted me. There's some fun stuff that's going to happen with that pattern and 3 other patterns that are part of a 4 pattern collection that I'm working on. Really excited about the project. I feel like yeah, this is going to be the year where I'm going to design more, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to maybe doing 1 or 2 updates of Luna yarn throughout the year. We'll see about that. I've talked to the mill about it, but we'll see. I mean, so many things that I want to do this year. So many good, positive things, and I wish you well. I wish you well for all the plans that you have this year. I hope that you stay motivated with whatever goals that you're setting for yourself. And I think that you have to understand that when you have big goals, you're going to have some setbacks. And so don't let that deter you from getting to the finish line, basically, right? It's the long haul, not the quick sprint, I think, that will give you better results. And if you ever need a word of encouragement, send me a DM. Send me a DM, send me an email. I'm here to encourage you to, like I said, try new things, do new things, assess what's important to you, and keep in mind that we're not perfect. We're not perfect people. We're not perfect beings. We all deserve grace. And let's support each other this year. Let's do better. You know, let's do better to be kind, to be respectful, to build bridges, not break them, not explode them, implode them, whatever you want to call it. And let's craft together with joy. Let's craft together with passion, and I will see you next time. Bye.